What's up, guys? I am Drew with Comics Elite here with
Kyle, not Kevin.
not Kevin, and we have a ginormous, huge, exclusive interview, biggest on the planet right now. I am here with the legend, Ali Garza.
There he is.
And a certain gentleman by the name of SHAWN HUDACHKO as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
And these two gentlemen here are the founders of Artists Elite Comics.
We're missing Tyler. Let me see if Tyler's
two of the three.
Tyler's getting a haircut. Let me. Oh wait, he's sitting in his computer real quick. Hold on. Can you share? Can you see my screen real quick? I got him right here.
There he is.
Tyler. Hey, Tyler. Hey.
Oh my God!
You might want to go back for your haircut, man. I don't know if that.
Oh, did you pay for that?
Man, I don't think that worked. Yeah. You know what? Let's let him go. I think he has to get back to work.
Yeah.
Did he dye is he just all gray and just dyes it like that, or
no? He needs to go back to working on a cover. Oh, there he is. He's back. He's back to drawing. He's got a deadline.
Thank God.
Yeah, he's back.
Back to work.
Back to work.
All right. Yikes.
Redhead.
Yeah.
Well put.
So, whose brainchild was this really? Like, how and when did this all start? When did this all come about?
Well, what was it? Geez, was it like last September? It was when Tyler was running his Final Boss Kickstarter, and I did a cover for him, and the colors came back, and we actually just talked about this the other day on the thread, and it like looked really sweet, and we were just kind of like, why aren't we like doing more comic books? Like, we just kind of started that conversation, and one thing led to another, and we're like, we thought we could get some people together and get something going, and then we knew we needed somebody who could wrangle everyone together and had a good idea of how to put stuff together. So that's when we were like, well, we should reach out to SHAWN over at Comics Elite, because he's obviously not busy enough. No. He needs another major thing to invest his time into. So, but yeah, it all just started with just off of us, like me doing that cover for him, and then I guess he was slightly impressed, because I guess he kind of forgot that I'm kind of good at drawing. So
that's right. I completely forgot about that. Yes, that is true. Yes.
Yeah, because we were having issues with the colorist. Like, he had someone color it, and I was like, you know what? It's like this. He's like, this isn't very good. And I'm not gonna say who it was. I don't even know who it was. I was like, yeah, it's not very good. And I knew that I'd done a number of covers with Sanju, colorist. I'm not gonna try and pronounce his last name, so I'm gonna just call him Sanju. And so I passed it off to him, and he came back with it, and it just looked really damn cool enough for SHAWN to pick it up as the store exclusive. And yeah, the rest is history. We were just like, shit, let's get some ideas together. I mean, he knew he wanted to do Final Boss, and then I had no idea what I was going to do. I had drawn this one little picture of a girl with a pickle and a gun, and that's kind of like grown out of that, as SHAWN calls it, pickle chicks, but sandwenches.
Sandwenches, yeah.
Yeah, and then we just went out and reached out to a bunch of other creators, and I think for every one that said yes, we got like 10 that were like, you guys are crazy. They're like, or we just didn't get a response. Like, it was like the Facebook, like, no response, where you see that they read it. You're like, okay.
That is the worst. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then crickets.
I was like, okay, we get the clue. But people for the most part still really, really like Tyler. Like, he hasn't burnt nearly as many bridges as me, so he did a pretty good job of like wrangling people in. And yeah, it's been pretty great so far. I mean, I know we announced it, and we probably announced it too soon, because we kind of ruffled some feathers and had some people saying that we had no charisma. I'm like, I'm brimming with charisma. It's like, seriously, Sean's brimming with charisma. You know, I mean, he's brimming with so much charisma. He has to wear headphones when he does live streams like this.
He's got to have a slap ASM First Craven right behind him. You know, he's doing this. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Tyler, he's from Utah. Everybody from Utah has charisma. So,
Very true.
And then, but it's we've had, like, I think we've coined the phrase chaotic publishing, and we're living up to that name so far. But the result is very flavorful. It's a fun ride. It's fun to see.
I mean, if everything goes to crap, worst case scenario, we have these amazing jam images of these great characters that was able to come out of this. I mean, it's not going to go to crap. We already got issue 1 we're putting together. We haven't revealed them yet, but we got the covers for the actual issue 1. As in publishing, you have to get so far ahead, which is a new thing for me. We're usually kind of, FOC 3 weeks, the book's out, so fast. You're planning this, like we're planning our July releases, July, August releases now, and you got to get it all together and get the cover art together. And I mean, these guys knocked it out of the park with what they already put together. And what's cool about the piece you're showing now, and Allie can attest to this, every artist drew their own character in there, and then there's just the coordination of, they drew them all separately, put it all together in a Dropbox. We gave it to the colorist, put it all. Why it wasn't even Sanju who put it all together, Allie.
Yeah, no, Brett Booth is the one who actually
Brett
laid it all out. And I mean, Brett's amazing. I mean, he's kind of like our ace in the hole with this whole project. So regardless of what we all do, we already have like 10 issues of a Brett Booth comic book to put out.
Yeah, I think Brett's going to be in every single issue for the next year.
That's never a bad thing in my experience. It's never a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's amazing artwork too. It's just super hyper detailed, just like the stuff that like would really get your gears going, like back in the day when you look at comic books. I like Sean said, it was a little bit of a challenge getting everybody to get theirs done, but we crossed that we got over that mountain, and it came out amazing. Sanju was the one who colored that, and I think Alan Qua colored his own. If you scroll down to the Mecha Girl, Alan Qua, his studio colored that for him.
There's Allie's right there.
Yeah, that's my pickle chick.
Very nice. Love the clever placement of the pickle. Yeah, that's that right there.
yeah. And I mean, just really a ton of amazing creators. It's just exciting to see.
Just watching you scroll through it, like I've been such a privilege to be a fan in the middle of all this. Privileged to be in the middle of all this, and play that one. Like he colored that. His studio did that.
So intense, the music, I love it.
It's like Halo.
Yeah, they're all so good. And again, I'm really fortunate I get to see all the work being put into the Dropbox and into the file sharing that we have, and everything that I see, I'm just like, this is amazing. Like they're really living up to the name Artist Elite, because the stuff is just so good.
Artists Elite.
Yes.
I don't think Tyler's going to make it. He said he has to feed his kids.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay.
Hopefully you got that haircut fixed that we showed. So.
Yeah, right.
Well, we have 2 of the triumvirate here for this evening. So that's good. So speaking of Artist Elite, why is this the time now for Artist Elite? Like, why not last year? Why not the year before? Why 2022 this summer?
I don't know. That's a tricky question. I mean, you could kind of like use that time placement question, like in any era or anything. I think for us, I don't know if it was, I don't want to say that like the industry is missing anything, because I don't want to like rag on the industry that I love so much, that's kept me employed for 27 years now. But, we like those even numbered years. 2022, we're coming out of a pandemic and all that stuff. It's like, what better time to launch a company now that like everybody's hopefully going to be out and doing conventions regularly. Like the restrictions hopefully will be a little more lenient, and we couldn't have done this last year. There's just a big part of this success is going to hinge on us being able to meet the fans face to face. And I think that's what we're looking forward to with this, like to bring back some floor presence at conventions and stuff, not just us individually anymore, but like me and Tyler, like thinking back to our days at Wildstorm and Top Cow, but how cool that was when you just had that big group of artists at like your studio booth and people just be drawing and cranking out stuff and signing posters and jam posters, like that was the one exciting thing about seeing this jam piece coming together. Well, another exciting thing about it, and we have another poster that will be released later that me and Brett and Tyler did. But it's really cool because that was stuff that we used to do back in the day for like San Diego Comic-Con. Like I remember being like 19, 20 years old and how exciting it was to like be on this big jam piece for Wildstorm, like with J. Scott Campbell and like Travis Sherray and like all those, everybody's like drawing their characters on there, and we wanted to try and recapture some of that energy and, bring that back to the fans and bring that back to ourselves too, just because, it's always kind of fun to check yourself and to reassure yourself that you love this job. And I think that's what us doing books again, like doing interiors, I think that's what a lot of this means. Well, especially for older guys like me and Tyler, who kind of, a lot of us have settled into these, like this routine of being a cover artist and stuff like that, which is awesome. I mean, I love it. And honestly, drawing interiors, it's difficult nowadays because the reward versus what you get for it, it's a lot of work. So you have to love this stuff. You have to love it to be able to do it. Like, and I did love that the first 10 years. I loved drawing, 10, 11 books a year for DC and stuff. But at a certain point, it gets to be very much. And if you're lucky enough to be able to segue into a career of doing covers and stuff like that, I think my lucky stars every day, knock on wood, that I get to keep doing that. And, and that's part of like what with Artist Elite's doing as well. It's like, since we're all teamed up and we're not putting the pressure of any one of us like producing books on our own, like with our first issue, it'll be me, Brett, and Tyler. We have each other's backs, and it's not the stress of doing a full 24-page book. You're still going to get 24 pages of story, but you'll get 8 pages from each of us. And over the next year, 2 years, you'll get that full story, and it'll be a full story. But it's fun and it's exciting, and I think that's why now is the time to do something like it.
And really, it just happened organically. It wasn't anything that was kind of thought out and planned, and it was really just Tyler and Allie talking and like, hey, why don't we try this? And then talking to their friends and connections in the industry and reaching out to different people. And it all just kind of came together on its own. I mean, you notice the names that we started with when we first announced are different now than who made it actually into what we're calling year one. Because some people just have other commitments. They're busy. They're doing either their own stuff or they're too busy with covers. They just don't have time to fit it in, which is understandable. We're fortunate to have the people that we have, and it's a huge commitment. I mean, when you do a creator-owned thing like this, you're drawing all these pages for free, and you got to pay. If you're not an inker and a colorist, you got to pay your inker, you got to pay your colorist, all this has to come out of your pocket, just like any venture, so just like everybody starting out in a business or making your own thing, there's a huge time and money investment before any of this is going to pay off anytime soon. So, starving artists, they're trying to cram in, they're drawing covers and interiors to be able to pay to make these issues. It's a lot. It's a lot to ask somebody to do their normal workload in the industry, which is significant. Oh, and by the way, you got to draw these 8 pages and then supervise the inking and get them colored and we have a great editor to help with, letter editing, all that stuff. Zen came on board. He's going to be fantastic, to help assist with that process. But it's a lot of work to do that on your own, on top of your normal workload. It's a lot,
and it is a passion project. I've tried to keep everybody's expectations realistic. I'm like, we're not going to be breaking the bank on this, not right away, So you really, like, if you're doing this, and I feel like every creator that's come through, like, that will be featured in the primers, like they're very passionate about their projects. Like, they want to see these characters and these stories in print more than anything. And I think that's the main focus. We're not doing this to, like, make $500,000 on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, obviously, because we're not using Kickstarter or Indiegogo, So, like, that's not the badge of honor we're trying to wear, I guess. Like, for us, it's more important that we just do these stories, tell these characters, like, bring them to life because we feel passionate about it, Because, like I said, every single person on here is making a healthy living doing what they're doing right now. Like, so that's one of the things, like, and all of them understand that, I think they have a pretty good understanding of that. And we really want to do a good job of lifting each other up. We have a very wide array of, like, experience levels in this industry. You have somebody who's been around as long as I have, 27 years. And I'm pretty sure, like, Alan Qua, I'm pretty sure he's only been around for maybe the past couple years.
4 or 5 years, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I know he always calls me Senpai, which is very cute. I love it. I didn't know what it meant at first, but but it's interesting to be in that role, because when I started in this industry, I was 18 years old. So, but it's really cool to have, like, even like Brett. I mean, he's been in the industry probably the longest of all of us, a few years longer than me. And I mean, he's only been in the industry, I think, technically 3 years more than me, but I would call him Senpai. I mean, I call Shawn Senpai too now.
He calls me a lot of things.
I just call him Daddy.
Shh, that's behind closed doors.
When he pays.
Yeah.
So you guys have touched upon a lot of things I'm going to ask questions about. So if we jump around, I apologize. It's like, I want to ask about this, I want to ask about that. Just great stuff so far. So my next question is, Artist Elite set up the same way as Image Comics, whereas in Artist Elite prints, publishes, and distributes, whereas each creator has their own studio under the Artist Elite banner, or is it different?
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I'm familiar with Image, obviously, but every Artist Elite doesn't own anything. It's just a label that we've slapped on the comics. We're the publisher, So Sandwenches, for example, it's owned by Ali. It's his property. He gets, if it goes off and makes $1 bazillion in some kind of a deal somewhere down the road, that's his thing, 100%. So yeah, it's very similar to where we don't Artist Elite doesn't own any of this. It's all owned by the creators. And like I said before, they are their own studios. Like, as much as a guy behind his table is a studio, that's each individual person's responsible for getting their own stuff done. So we don't have like a company inker and a company colorist. They all have to get it done on their own. It's like, you complete your pages and get it to us, and when they're done, we'll put it in the next issue.
Cool.
Yeah. So Ali, you mentioned that you were at Wildstorm during the big indie boom. So where does that experience compare with this? Does you think that helps at all?
I think it does. I think it helps in the fact that I'm used to working with other artists, because when I was at Wildstorm, I think I was there in studio for about 8 years, like straight. And I was in an office with Lee Bermeo, Carlos Deanda, Sandra Hope, Richard Friend, Jim was in there, Ryan Benjamin, JJ Kirby, Oliver Nome, like, and we, it was just being in that kind of environment. You learn how to work with each other. You learn how to, like, help each other out and I've kind of tried from the very start, like, to tell the other creators, if there's something you need help with, don't be afraid to ask, because I really think that like having that camaraderie and like just that like connection to each other is ultimately going to help, and it's not just like, what you would think it is, but it's also keeping each other in check. I mean, I don't feel like any of the artists or creators we have on board right now are like super huge egos, which helps because, like we had a little snafu with some lettering on one of the artist books. It just wasn't up to snuff. And, that was one of those things, like, everybody, like, I've kind of told them in the beginning, you have to be comfortable with, like, if something doesn't look right, we're going to tell you. And,
Yeah.
so, and a lot of these other artists, they didn't have that studio experience. I mean, Tyler was here. He would probably completely agree, having been at Top Cow. It's just, those are like, well, there goes my cat. Those are like, boiler room type situations. And what comes out of it is great stuff. Out of those situations, you get Lieber Mayhos and you get Carlos Deandas and Ollie Garza's. It pushes everybody to be better. It pushes everybody to be their best. And I think that having that experience, I think it really helps. And I think it's going to help down the line. I think it'll really, like, I think in the end, you'll see the effects of that.
Nice.
Good.
You want us next one?
All right, Sean, this is for you.
Oh shit.
How did you get all of this talent to Artist Elite?
Well, I had almost nothing to do with it, for real. It was
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it
I don't
was.
buy that. Come on. I know you.
I mean, it was really Allie and Tyler reaching out to people and saying, "Hey, you want to do this? You want to do that?" I mean, when that was happening, I intentionally tried to stay back and, like, look, this is your guys' thing. I know a ton of creators in the industry, but I don't want to ask anybody because, we did get a lot of inquiries from people that were interested, but at the same time, it's kind of like, we don't have anything set in stone, and we're like, okay, here's the wickets you have to hit to be an artist and an Artist Elite. Because, like I said, there were a lot of people that fall by the wayside because they were just too busy. I think, Allie, there was maybe, I don't know how many people were reached out to or talked to. I think to get these last 12.
Initially I think we had around 21 or 22 people, I want to say, and then we've whittled it down to 12 people at this point.
Yeah, and probably people that were reached out to was probably 35-ish people that we reached out to, and a lot were like, "Oh, not this year." We probably already have 12 ready for next year. People that are just like, "I'm ready for next year. I'll be in year 2. I just got to get this work done and squared away." Because, like I said, it's a huge commitment about who can do this. So
I mean, if it works and we pull it off, then I wouldn't be surprised if we have people we didn't even ask us about it. So
yeah. But we have a lot of and we've never been snooty, and I don't think there's a single person that we were like, oh, that person's not good enough to be a part of this. It was more along the lines of, have they worked in the industry? Do they have a reputation? Can they complete interiors? Is their work up to a certain standard? I guess, do you know anatomy? Kind of some basic art stuff. But yeah, I really had almost nothing to do with that at all. I've just been really kind of behind the scenes in the business stuff, and it's all been Tyler and Allie's leadership throughout this whole process.
Yeah, when we were doing that, Sean was doing all the important stuff, like setting up all the paperwork and things like that, which is extremely valuable. So thank you, Daddy.
Well, there's you owe me $10 for that one. I mean, there's stuff. I love to challenge myself, and I got the retail stuff pretty pretty good, and the live sale stuff, I'm not going to talk about all the stuff. I've innovated a lot of things, but coming up with agreements for retailer exclusives. I mean, I've probably been a part of over 400, 500 retailer variants over the last 6 years, but I've never put together a agreement for someone. How does that look? Exploring the new sensation of NFTs and how that would play into what we do as a company for Artist Elite. How can the artists be taken care of that way? Because that's a whole nother topic I could get into. That it's really not, you're paying $20,000 for a JPEG. That's not what NFTs are. That's not what they're growing into. So navigating those waters, coming up with legal agreements and creator agreements, and oh my goodness, hiring talent. Holy crap. It's been amazing though. Like, I love every moment of it. I do. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So who was the easiest to get on board to join Artist Elite, and who was the most difficult?
The easiest would probably have been Brett.
Oh, cool.
Because
nice.
Brett's just been hungry from the get-go. So I think he was
right.
He's eager to get his stuff out there. I mean, the toughest one to get on, I can't say that anybody that's in the top or in our final 12 here. Everybody's been really cool. So I can't say that anybody was hard to, I mean, each and every one of those creators is a blessing. So I can't say that any of them were hard to get in or to commit to it. The ones that were hard to commit to it just aren't here now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, again, and it's not because they didn't want to. It's their workload, their professional workload was so much as they may have wanted to, because many of them wanted to. They were like, oh, I want to do this so bad, but I just can't. And really kudos to a lot of them, because a lot of them were very professional and said, look, I don't want to say, as much as I want to say yes, I know I would just blow this out my ass, and I don't want to do that to you guys or myself. So the professionalism in the industry is just so, I'm impressed by it every day. And especially being a part of the creation of this, it's amazing seeing how forthcoming and professional and respectful every single person I've had the privilege of dealing with in this whole process has been. It's really refreshing.
Yeah.
Nice. So Allie, back to you. Sandwiches. What's the adjustment been like for you to get back into doing, interior pages, to getting back into that grind? I mean, you touched upon it briefly. Is it really that difficult for you to get back into it? Or after the first couple of pages, did you get it back into that groove?
Yeah. I mean, it did take it's a whole nother mindset when you're doing interiors. I mean, as opposed to just like taking a single photo, all of a sudden you have to become a director, you have to become a set designer, you have to become every actor that's on your page. So it's the muscle that needs to be worked out a little bit before you get back into it. And the first couple pages were a little bit like, oh, this is but once you start doing it, like once you get into it, then you realize, you remember real quick, like I did anyways, why I love telling stories so much. And I mean, that's why I got into comics in the first place, was because I love telling stories. So it took there was a little bit of growing pains, because honestly I think for the past few years I've been drawing a lot of the same, make sure and fit the butt and the boobs in the same frame type thing, so now I got to try and figure out ways to do that within panels. But it's good, it's going good, and I just, fingers crossed, just keep on chugging. Yep.
I think it's all the stuff I've seen from Allie and everybody has just been, like I said, like as a fan, I'm just like, what? Like, this is nuts. Like, I wish I could share some of the stuff. Some of it's been creeped on Instagram already here and there, but oh man, I'm so excited for everybody to get to see this stuff when it gets published. It's very exciting. And a lot of the raw part of it's going to be in these first two issues, the primer red and primer blue, because it's the preview pages, concept design, that kind of stuff for these characters. I've always loved that more than anything else. I think the part of the artisan, I guess, is in the creation of it. The final product, of course, is great, fully inked and colored, but I want to see those sketch covers. I want to see those raw pencils. I want to see the layouts. We've talked before about how I love the artist editions that just have the original pencils and stuff in them that are published. Like, I love that stuff, and I get to see it, and I'm like, oh, I want to publish a full pencil issue of this. It's so good.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely an art snob.
Yeah.
So, Allie, will you keep dipping your toes in other publishers while you're doing this work, or is this what your primary focus is on right now?
No, I pretty much just focused on this. I think I did actually agree to do one book for this for another smaller press company before we got this going, and I'm just kind of plugging away on that in the background and get that taken care of. But no, I'm guessing you're asking if I'll be working for Marvel or DC anytime soon, and I don't see that happening.
Okay.
I don't pursue them; they don't pursue me. So I think after this comes out, they might come knocking on my door again. But I'm kind of like an old man commodity at this point. Yeah, a lot of what I do, I feel almost feels a little archaic at this point. So.
You bring up a great point, because I remember Walt Simonson. He gave an interview with Cartoonist Kayfabe, and he said the editors at Marvel, they want nothing to do with him. They're like, no one knows who he is. No one wants Walt Simonson.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've aged myself out, and it's kind of funny to think of that, but it's true. I mean, I haven't worked. I think the last thing that I did for Marvel was Arachnite. And that was only 2 issues, and that was in and out. And then the editors that I worked with, they're just not around anymore. I mean, you have editors now that are like a whole new generation, and it's And I'm not nearly as efficient as like some of the artists today. Like I feel like a lot of the artists are from like South America and like the Philippines and Europe and stuff. And man, those guys crank out work. And it's, they took our jobs. No, I'm just kidding. More power to them, because I mean, it's amazing artwork. It's beautiful. I honestly, I don't have the stamina for it anymore. Like I have cold sweats and like nightmares about waking up and having those like 3-week deadlines and turning around like an issue of Batgirl or something. It's like, oh.
So you're not like John Byrne doing the page a day like he's doing for his X-Men Elsewhere story right now.
No. I mean, for sandwiches, I'm actually pretty fast. So when I am drawing my interiors, I can do 1 or 2 pages relatively easily. And honestly, like, I think I started working digital about 5-6 years ago. And I mean, I can really crank out like some interiors now. It's just,
I always joke. I can tell when Allie's inspired because I start seeing pages flying into my inbox left and right. And I'm like, damn, where'd that come from? He's like, I told you I could draw. And I was like,
yeah, but it's a lot different when I'm like my own editor at this point. And it's like, I could do 2 pages in a day. I don't want to have to be told to do 2 pages in a day, but I can do it. That's part of like the bonus of just like being able to do what we're doing right now. And you ultimately don't hit that wall like when I worked on Deadpool, and they're like, well, we need these 10 pages in 3 days. I'm like,
wow.
Like I'm more than happy to know that those days are behind me. Like I don't ever want to have to cross those bridges again.
I don't blame you. At this point, why not?
Yeah.
So all right, so you don't have to say any names, but did any creator try to talk you out of doing this? Was there anybody that said, don't do this, it won't turn out well for you?
Not to me, because I don't really give a flying F what anybody thinks that I'm gonna do. So I think I had a couple of people maybe go like, oh really? Like you're gonna do this? Like maybe. Give it a shot.
Everything I've done in the comic industry, I've always had, especially when I was first getting started as a retailer, so many haters. Just they come out of the people I don't even know making Facebook comments and trolling about this. Oh, it's ridiculous. You just have to learn to turn a lot of it off and just focus on the positive. I had two people, tell me like, "What are you doing? Like this isn't you. You're doing too much. This is gonna fail. Are you sure you want to work with this guy or that guy or this other dude or this name or that person?" And I was just like, none of these guys have ever done wrong. None of them have done wrong by me. I don't have. They may have this. You had a bad experience with this person 7 years ago. Like, really? Like, yeah, it's all that. You just have to tune a lot of that stuff out and just stay focused on the positive and creating a good product that fans will enjoy.
I mean, when we announced it, there was a group of creators who shall go unnamed who kind of talked a little trash about us attempting to do this and how we weren't going to pull it off and fail at it. But, I think you're going to have that in any situation in life. There's always going to be someone that's going to be like, "Oh, you can't do that." It's like when I broke up with my girlfriend before I got married. It's like, well, you're never going to find a brunette with large breasts to marry you. But, well, I did.
I showed them.
Yeah, and again, a lot of it is just you just have to tune it out. I can be very aggressive and confrontational, especially when I hear somebody talking smack about something and I know what they're saying isn't true. I just go into attack mode. I just want to, get that guy right now. I'll talk to this guy right now in public. I don't care. I'll confront him. But it's like, you don't want to give him the time of day. It's like if,
yeah. I remember in the late 90s and the early 2000s, like message boards, like, oof. It's not we're too old and too wise to do that stuff anymore. Like to engage people like when they really have no idea what you're doing in the first place, and it's like just let us be. You be you, we'll be us. We're not trying to take anything from you, and I don't think you're trying to take anything from us. So everybody has a place.
And if someone feels the need to have to talk about, especially negatively, "Oh, look what they're doing. Who do they think they are?" Blah 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 blah. It's like, are you that petty that you can't wish your fellow creators in the industry success? Like, can you not come at it from an angle of, you know what? I don't understand what they're doing. I may not agree with what they're doing, but you know what? All of the more power to them. I wish those guys all the best. Instead, all this negativity and vitriol and hate comes out of someone's mouth. Like, you're talking about me, bro. I ain't talking about you. So you clearly have the problem, not me.
I think if our name was like kind of good artists comics, I think the choosing of our wording might have like ruffled some feathers.
Yeah.
But if you don't think that you're the best, then why are you trying to do something? I mean,
that's true.
100%.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers got $50 million a year because he's the best at what he does. It's like, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in the person next to you, and I'm not saying that I'm elite or that Tyler's elite or whatever that word actually means, like to you or me, but I think we're pretty good, and I think we're pretty good at what we do. And, I think if anything, our hunger to do this for the fans and for ourselves, that is elite, because like we said earlier, we are doing this from a heart standpoint. Like, it's coming from our guts and from our hearts. It's not, we're not backed by like $10 million financier or something, knowing that like, oh, we do this cool comic, I'm going to be able to retire off of that $250,000 the guy who invented Redbubble or something just gave me, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, so, that hunger and that passion, that we're definitely like, we feel we're up at the top of what we want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well said.
When can we expect the first stories to start coming out?
First issues will be out June 1st. Sorry, I should remember this. June 1st and June 8th.
Ooh,
so
right around the corner.
Yeah. Artist Elite Red Primer Red will be out June 1st. Primer Blue will be out June 8th, right
Sweet.
before Fan Expo Dallas.
And then Artist Elite issue 1 will be out in July, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the first full issue one will be out, shooting for a July 18th release.
Oh, sweet. So, Allie, can you talk about your sandwiches a little bit? Like, what is it? What's going on? Any of that or no?
It's just a big pun. We're just
oh, now I get it.
Oh.
Sandwich.
We're just having fun with puns.
We're doing it for. We're just doing it for pun.
Yeah, we're just doing
Clever.
it for fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think, you know, for me, it's just like, this is my first attempt at like completely like scripting. I did have a buddy of mine, Howard Cadmus. He helped me kind of plot out some ideas early on. Since then, I've kind of taken it on a whole direction of my own. It's you know, it's just a lot of fun. That was one thing. I don't think I've ever drawn like something like this wacky and like goofy. You know, it's don't expect Shakespeare at all. You know, you can expect a man with a chicken nugget fist named Mac Nugget, and that's, you know, there's obviously, like Sean's favorite, the pickle chick, like there's a lot of phallic type references, stuff like that.
That's in Hamlet, isn't it? Somewhere? Hamlet, yeah. One of the acts in Hamlet, yeah.
She's always carrying around a jar of pickles on her back, so
it's so cool. Like I gotta tell you, at first when he said sandwiches, I was like, that's terrible. What are you thinking? And then I saw it and I was like, I am so excited about this. Like, I am so excited. Like, I see all the other stuff. I see, you know, all the other guys' stuff. And I'm like, man, I can't wait to see these. And then I see Allie's, and it's so different from everything else. It literally, it stands out because it's so different from everything else that you see out there. It's super cool.
I mean, Sanju is he's like bringing the colors to life on a whole nother level. So it's, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's like Archer meets Austin Powers meets Charlie's Angels meets McDonald's, like meets McDonald's McDonald's Playground from the 70s, you know, like the creepy one. So, you know, it really is just like me getting all that weird shit in my head out on like in a comic book page. And, you know, I think it'll be a lot of fun for people, a lot of big in your face type imagery, because, you know, like one of my big experiences, or what I'm known for, is drawing Eve Protomecha for Christian Leitner and Aaron Lucen, Liquid Graphics, back in the day. And just working with Christian, like, he was just such an amazing like artist and everything. Like, you know, when I was working on Eve, he kind of showed me like, this is how you put together a comic. You know, like if you pick up Eve, like if you flip through it, I don't know if like artists really even think about this nowadays, but when you flip through a book, like you want to see a certain amount of big imagery, like every like 2-3 pages. And that was like something that at the time, I think I was like maybe 20 years old. So that's something that was really in my head. And, you know, over the years working on the different books, like from Fathom to even to like when I did Get Jiro, it's like I tried to always keep that in the back of my mind. And with Sandwiches, it's just completely off the rails. So it's like I'm making excuses to draw like 3/4 splash pages like every other page, you know, but there's still storytelling there to be told. But yeah, I really want people to just pick it up and be like, oh, that's a big cool image. Oh, there's another one. I'm gonna buy this. You know, that's something that I've always had in the back of my head when I'm drawing like stories and stuff. And like with this, and then working with Sanju, who's, you know, he's on next level colorist. He's really like, it's gonna be like one of those things where you're like, what the hell is this? You know?
Yeah, a lot of times you need the art to speak for itself. You know,
this is a party in my eyes, and everyone's coming.
There, hey. Perfect. I love it.
There.
I didn't need that imagery.
That burns.
So, Kyle, we love collecting hardcovers and trade paperbacks and omnibuy. So, when the stories are eventually done, is there a plan to get these all collected?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We were talking about it yesterday. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think a lot of a majority of our stories are what is it, Sean? Like 6-8 page stories.
8-page stories, and then once those pages put together, at least three issues have been released in the anthology format. There will be an issue 1 put out with the 24 page of content and then some extra stuff in there. And then once those are released, then you'll have a trade paperback, omnibus down the road. Lots of really cool stuff.
Like for my collections, within the Artist Elite like books, you'll see like I'll have a certain amount of pages, but then when I do the collection, it'll probably have like an additional like 6 pages of story just to kind of rope you in and get it going like that. I foresee, like, if everything goes according to plan, we're gonna have like big fat like encyclopedia editions, because why not?
Yeah,
nice.
Like everybody's like full stories in there, like you just be like, holy shit.
Yeah, I really want to print what I want to collect, so I will have big omnibus trade hardback silver gloss fancy
built-in bookmarks, hopefully
signed and silver
numbered
chromium,
editions.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yep,
absolutely,
all that stuff.
All right, so I know you guys frequent the convention circuit. Sean, I know you are a big fan of conventions and going and working and all that fun stuff. So will you be having an Artist Elite booth at conventions, or will you guys be having your own comics at your own tables?
Yes.
Okay.
So I mean really both. Like, so let's say Ali goes to a con. Well, he's there. He could be there as obviously just Ali Garza is here, but he's also part of Artist Elite. So he'll have, if he wants, he could have a banner with his Artist Elite logo on it with his property and his character.
I'm a founder of this whole thing, so I feel obligated. If we're at a show, I'm going to be at the Artist Elite booth like the whole show. Like, that's me personally. But like someone like Ryan Kincaid, he obviously does a lot of conventions on his own. We'll always have a spot for him to come to the booth and sign his books and, do or sell whatever he wants to of his own stuff from there. That's the way I think it feels like for me though. And probably Sean as well. It's like, if there's an Artist Elite booth, you'll find my monkey ass in there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, it'll be both. Like, there'll always be time and space for the Artist Elite creators to come into the Artist Elite booth and have a signing time, have an exclusive for that show with their property on it. We really plan on maximizing the convention scene as much as possible for the artists and for the fans, both.
And they'll probably kick off at Dallas Fan Expo. Is that where you plan to have your first booth?
We're working on that being our big coming out party.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Heard it here first.
Yep.
And gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
Like a Neil Adams style island. Hopefully,
well, we'll see. We're still working on getting all that squared away, but it's looking like it's going to be a pretty good Artist Elite rollout. It'll be the first con after both of the primer issues are released.
Yeah.
So we're really working on getting it set up very well.
Yeah, we should have a lot of individual creator exclusives as well. So hopefully there'll just be a lot of product that people will be able to get their hands on there. And it should be pretty exciting.
Yeah. What we have so far, whatever's in Luna right now is the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And again, it's not, retailers still have plenty of time to pre-order this stuff. I mean, initial orders for April aren't due until the 21st. And if you're watching this and you already missed that deadline, FOC is in May. So you have until May to get your orders in for these. And then there's ratio variants for each issue. They are two separate, to be clear, they're two very separate issues.
Yeah.
Two different content on the inside. The covers just connect.
Yeah.
From red and blue. They both connect and then they form the image on the bottom, the ratio variant. Primer Reds has the black background and Primer Blue has the white background.
Yeah, 6 different stories in each one, which is really cool. I think we talked about doing them all, I think, together, but I think splitting them up makes it a lot more collectible and makes it a lot more fun for people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it makes you want to get both. Then.
Yeah,
It's not just
absolutely.
a cover buy.
Yeah. Yeah. And instead of, obviously when you do horizontal cover, you're kind of jamming that image in there a little bit. Doing the two connecting allows us to spread it out. And we didn't want to do a wraparound cover because then as a collector, I like the wrap covers, but I always feel like I have to buy two of them so I can display them side by side. So instead of making you buy two, well, we'll make you buy two now, but you get two completely different issues, not two of the same issues.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's huge. And I think we touched upon it briefly, but there will be crowdfunding will not be a factor with Artist Elite. It's all going to be directly to the stores with Lunar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Direct through us. If a retailer is overseas or they can't go through Lunar for some reason, we do offer direct through us. Here in the next week or so, the website has a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on with it. So, people can still email us to get on our mailing list for information. Retailers can email us to request to do store variants. We just got the store variant stuff together that should be rolling out depending when you're watching this. Tomorrow, it's April 5th. So, if you don't have it by the 7th, you can yell at me. So, yeah, lots of good stuff happening. This is rolling out. It happens quick. There's a lot of hurry up and wait. It's like, do this. Okay, wait. All right, now we got a bunch more to do. Okay, now wait.
Yeah, sounds. I was in the Air Force. Hurry up and wait was a very common theme. So, yeah, I'm sure you probably heard that in the Marines as well.
Yeah, once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we all have dream lists, guys. We want to work with. So who is on your guys' dream list that you haven't got a chance to work with yet that you want to?
Go ahead, Sean. I worked with everybody.
Well, I mean, I could go on and on. I've never done anything with, of course, McFarlane, Campbell. I mean, the guys that are just, epic mega stars. I would love to work with those guys, but really it's being a part of this. It's, I still am very flattered and humbled that I was even asked to be a part of it. Just coming into this industry about 6 years ago, it's been incredible as a fan coming into it, getting to, kind of make a splash and work with some of these guys. It's been amazing. I think Allie's worked with almost everybody. I don't think Allie's not like, we were talking about this the other day. Like, I can imagine, like I was in the military for over 20 years. And by the time I was retiring, I was like, I am done with this. Like, I can't retire fast enough. And Allie's been in this for 26 years, 27 years. Like
27. Yeah.
I can imagine like, you're like, hey, what else do you want to do? He's probably like, I want to stop drawing. That's what I want to do. Like, that's what I can imagine after all those years, But,
yeah. I mean, I've been pretty lucky and pretty blessed to have worked with, everyone from Chris Claremont to Judd Winnick to Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace. But yeah, at this point, I think my focus is just to do the best like comics and the best stories that I can, and to keep as much of a fine tooth on the quality over it as much as I can. And that's why I'm very, very lucky to be working with Mustafa Musa as my inker, and then Sanju working on the colors, and then occasionally, if I can talk her into it, Cici De La Cruz to work on some colors for covers and stuff like that. But those are the things that get me going and get me giddy. I probably should have some of it, but I know all those guys. I know all those names over the years. I've been at parties with them. I've seen them at their best. I've seen them at their worst. It's good times. It's, just working with the guys that I'm working with right now. Chad Harden. I've loved Chad for years. I mean, him and Freddie Williams and, Paolo, thank goodness for all the stuff he's going through right now over there, and just wish the best for him. And then, the newer faces in the industry, like the Brian Kincaids and the Soros Songs, the Alan Quaz and the Dexter Soys, and Jordan Gunderson. These are all very talented people. They just, I'm just excited to be able to help give them a platform to like have their voices heard, and show off what they can do. And the stuff that I've seen from each of them has been really amazing. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of leveling up by people. And
Temple Smith, I'm excited about Temple Smith's property.
Well,
like
yeah.
That was wild. I'm surprised you got Ben Temple Smith. I saw that name. I'm like, whoa, you guys got Ben.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was pleasantly surprised. I was like,
and Ben's
really?
super cool. He's super friendly, and he was actually one of the first creators that was very eager as well. And he's come through on every step of the way so far. And his IP is very fleshed out. It's very cool. Like seeing the stuff that we get to see in the Dropbox, it's like too bad for you guys.
Dang it.
Yeah. I could go on and on. I mean, Kincaid's his story idea is amazing. Paulo's girl and backstory sounds incredible. The details in Alan Qua's work are just mind-blowing. The sheer volume of detail that's in Brett Booth's pages again is just incredible.
This right
I
here,
could just go on and on.
Amazing right here. I'm not gonna lie as well.
Yeah, well, he's got a DC variant out this week too. I think this week or last week he had a variant cover for DC.
This gets me every time too, right here. That Freddie did, man.
Man,
that dog,
he has. His pages are just again mind blowing. I'm like, what? He's probably one of the busiest ones of everybody right now.
His interiors are nuts. Too.
Yeah, his interiors are so incredibly detailed and stunning. And then just the fact, like that dog, you can't really tell, but that dog is like an undead dog. Like
it looks. It looks terrified. But that's. I'm even more heartbroken now after hearing that. So
cemetery.
Zombie dog, demon dog.
Oh
of course, Tyler continuing his final boss story, seeing what Sora's going to do with the Carnal Confessions. Like it's so exciting every step of the way. All these properties seem amazing.
So speaking of all this,
Gunderson, the Apotheosis. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Like
Apotheosis,
the universe he's made. I'm just like, tell me more. Like. Then what happens? Yeah, well, then what happens? Like, draw it right now. The whole thing, like. So, and Jordan's such a great guy too.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just I could gush on and on about the quality of character in these people and their talent, their willingness to work together. There's been no ego problems at all. Like, even when we said, "Hey, this is going to be a rap cover." Imagine being told, going all this work to make this cover, and we're like, this is going to be a rap cover. And 6 of you are like, oh, well, my guy's on the back. Like, well, that kind of sucks. Not a single person said a word about it. Nobody complained. No one said a word about it. It was us that was like, well, I think it was really me that was like, I don't want to do this as a rap cover because as a fan, I hate him and love him. But anyway, it's been fantastic. No egos, no clashes. Knock on wood. Hopefully it can stay that way. But it should. I don't see any problems at all. Just draw comics, guys. Draw comics, make fun stuff. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So if things go well with Artist Elite, do you guys predict to have a YouTube channel in the future where you guys could do like live hangout drawing streams like some other creators do, like David Finch?
I would love to say yes, but everybody's so busy. It's almost like I just don't see it happening, to be honest with you. Herding the cats, I mean, look, we couldn't even get three of us together for an interview because people have lives, we had to push it back because Allie has kids to feed and Tyler has family and, I got more work to do. Like, it's just, imagine getting I would love to have all 12 people in the same room together. That's, bucket list for me. Get them all together. I would probably be like, everyone's drawing me a headshot on something. Right? I'm getting the best thing out of it. I'll take advantage of that day. But I would love to do that, guys. That's a great idea. I don't see it happening.
I mean, a lot of it depends on if this project ends up buying us time. If this takes off and it does well and it can buy us a little bit of time to take an hour like once a week or something to be able to do something like that, I think everybody would be more than happy to do it. But a lot of it, like you said, we just got to wait and see how things go. And
I mean, I could see something forming in the future where it's like, okay, hey, look, whoever can make it every whatever day at this time, if you can make it, Here's the link. Point your camera at something and draw, and we'll all talk shit to each other about something. You know.
And people like that. People like that on
Oh,
YouTube.
yeah.
They enjoy it.
Yeah, I watch it.
Yeah.
We do too.
Yep.
We sometimes start it, so it's fun.
Yeah, sometimes you create it.
Yep, very true.
So we got one last thing before we wrap this up. One last, this is the moment of integrity right here. Is there anything we have not covered that you want to talk about? Like any statements you guys want to make that hasn't been touched upon? Do you like for the audience, customers to know?
I don't really just guys go order the books. Like go to your LCS. You know, I'm a fan of brick and mortar shops because they're what got the industry to where we are today. The industry is definitely moving away from brick and mortar shops very slowly, if you will, to online stores, digital content, that kind of stuff. We will not be releasing any of this stuff on any of the comiXologies or digitally. We will be releasing some stuff in NFT format that'll be down the road. But go to your LCS and order these. There's going to be a ton of variants, but there will always be a variant only available at your LCS, only available at your comic shop. And if comic shops want to do variants with us, we have a very retailer-friendly program set up. We can help a store that's brand new to this and that may be intimidated by the retailer exclusive universe. We can help them navigate the waters. But really, we just need fans. Go to your LCS and say, I need to pre-order this book. I want to order this book.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Sean. I think people should just take a chance on us. I think you're going to enjoy it. I think our tagline from the very beginning is it gets better inside, because we have a lot of guys who are known for doing cover work, now doing interior work. When you open up that book, the guts of the book are going to match what's on the front. I think that should be pretty exciting for people.
Yeah.
Especially for a smaller press book. And I mean, we're going to do our best to give you guys the funnest and freshest comics. I don't know if they say things are fresh anymore. I think that might be outdated, but yeah.
You're with the head cat.
I don't know. My kindergartner checked me the other day for saying because kids don't say cool anymore, I guess. So
you got to say it's rad.
Rad. Now everything's fire. So we
fire.
All
that
I went from cool to fire. So yeah.
I still say things are on fleek. So I think.
Well, those are your eyebrows. But yeah, we're just having some fun, making some comics. There's not much more I can really say. I mean, keep it positive, keep it happy. I feel like our books shouldn't alienate everyone. We won't alienate anyone. Or hopefully, they can pull people together and just remind us all why we grew up loving comic books.
Yeah, I haven't seen any political craziness in any of this stuff. It's just fun escapism.
That's
what we want. That's what we want. That's what we like in our comics. Just fun escapism.
Yeah. But hey, if a creator does want to put political stuff in their book, that's up to them. It's we're not here to censor people either. So
that's fair.
Yeah,
reasonable to make.
Fair is fair.
So you've been warned. You're getting Ali Garza uncensored. You've been warned.
Oh boy, can't wait.
I'm a big fan of dick and fart jokes.
They make the world go round.
Yeah,
they do.
They sell.
Well, that just about wraps it up, I believe. Yeah. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Ali. This is terrific. So everyone watching, stay tuned. Early June, go to your LCS, and then go to the Dallas Fan Expo after that.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I love your setup there too. By the way, it was really cool background you have.
Thank you. Yeah, I was in the Marine 26 years, man. I worked every day with that, and kept all my hair too.
Yeah,
it was shocking.
Cool. I like your statues and your slab and stuff. That's really cool.
Oh, the cheap stuff back here.
We're doing tomorrow.
All that garbage.
guys. Stay
All right.
fresh, just
Thanks,
like
guys.
Subway.
See you guys.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you later. Bye.
Later.